All right, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Texas Car Dads. For me, this is a very special episode because I finally get to drive one of my dream cars, the 2006 Ford GT. Okay, so as we're getting started here, first I need to thank Mr. Chris over here, and you guys are going to see him in next week's episode where we're going to learn a lot more about this car. But for exchange for a free tank of gas, Mr. Chris has let me have the pleasure of driving, again, one of my dream cars. So this is definitely, I've admired this car for the last 15, 16 years that I've known Chris. And this is the first time I've ever got to drive it, and the experience is really hard to tell you because this is one of those meet your hero moments. And a lot of times in those moments, for me, especially with the Gen 2 Viper, because I grew up like everybody else, Gen 2 Viper was on my wall. And then the first time I got to drive one, Jason's, it wasn't that the car itself was disappointing, it was disappointing in how I fit in the car, I guess you could say, because it's not very comfortable for me, which was ultimately just disappointing. And it was definitely a don't meet your hero moment because you might get disappointed. But this is living up to all the hypes and dreams and fantasies I've ever had in my head of how this car would be. Like the first thing right off the bat, everything is laid out very well. I have very clear sight to my tachometer, to the rest of the gauges. The speedometer's off to the side because you don't need to look at that anyways. Where you sit in the driver's cockpit area here, everything is very close to you, very easy to access. The shifter is almost in the perfect location, and it shifts like this is an old school analog car. And this shifter is extremely crisp. It's not something that you're hunting for gears or it's sloppy. Like for being a 20-year-old car, this thing it almost feels gated in how crisp and clean it is.
Did you notice in the corner back there, when you whipped it around, it obeyed?
Yeah.
There was no lean, no drama, or no nothing. So I want to go over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
And it almost takes some adjusting because I am used to driving a much heavier car that likes to lean into the turn, and you have to learn how to drive that style of car. You have to almost relearn how to drive a car that has almost no body roll whatsoever.
Well, like in the Terlingua event, when I went there, most of the time you're cruising with a lot of GT500s and Super Snakes and high horsepower, high performance Mustangs.
Right.
I felt like I was following school buses.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to slow down for turns. It's built to hug the ground, low center of gravity, mid-engine, so it'll pivot very well.
One of the things that is really nice about any mid-engine car is just turning this car. This car is, when you make a turn, because your center of gravity is right where it should be, it's like you're in orbit of a planet. It's perfect. It's almost natural in the way that it does it. You're not slinging. You're not getting the car to nosedive.
Yeah, and back when I had the Mustang and this car, I'd have to reprogram my brain if I'm in the Mustang to tone it down, or I would have wrecked the Mustang. Because as you can see in this one, these are very difficult hills and turns for a normal car.
Yeah. And
this car is just saying, well, whatever. Can I go to sleep now? Because you're not really stressing anything.
Yeah. Like honestly, if I didn't have Wes in front of me, this would be a lot more lively.
Yeah, get the imports out of the way.
Oh, but he's got the big wing. Look at all that downforce he's producing.
I know, it's killing his top end. Also, the structure of this car, I don't think I ever told you this, they had to test it before they started production. And so they've got this machine that they use to test rollover or ceiling pressure or whatever. And so the machine gets the body into the car and starts trying to crush it. It broke the machine.
Oh, jeez. Well, and I think you've told me before, but this car in particular, because the way that they did the pressure forming on the frame, it's like one of the only cars that you can do high mile, 1 mile events and high speed events, and you don't have to put an extra roll cage in it.
Right.
It's already certified the way it is.
Yeah. Which is cool, because the one I mentioned earlier, MHK Motorsports out of Houston, they did officially 300.4 in the Texas mile like 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in their GPS indicator, they went a little over the line and they got it up to 306 before they shut it down. And no one's come close to that. It's a ton smoother than you expected, isn't it?
Oh, very. And I will, like, the thing that's surprising me the most right now, even like at these slower speeds, is how tight it is. Like the steering feel is very smooth, but it's also, it's not 20-year-old car sloppy.
Yeah.
It's a very tight steering feel. Like the input is almost 1-for-1. It's almost like a video game, like how responsive it is.
No.
I'm gonna keep up, and I'm gonna give you a lot more room over here. I just wanted to get it out of the way. Here's where all the cameras come out.
Yeah, get you a video of everybody showing up.
Okay, well, this wasn't like the most spirited run I ever got to do, but this was still a bucket moment. And Chris, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to do this. And all right, well, we're gonna head to the studio now, and we're gonna talk a lot more about this particular car. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching these videos, and we'll see you next time.